Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and to attend the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, you can register. Please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. If you're inclined to not come in, just enjoy watching this on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments part of the show. Understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up, a like. Consider subscribing, and when you subscribe, hit the notification bell and select all so that whenever myself or Sparky comes on, you'll be notified. And comment. Now, I'm not in Sparky's space very often, just Monday and Friday. So if you have a comment about this particular show, Stunthangar Video Hangouts, go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. It's all the letters spelled out, Flying Control Line Stunt. And the video of me flying at the 2019 US Nationals, you can use that until I make up a video and comment there, and I'll get a notification because that's my channel. So I'll be able to get back to you in a timely fashion. Okay. Also, to chat on the chat box, I believe you have to have a YouTube account or registration for you to be able to chat and subscribe, all those kind of things. So make sure you have it, you're logged in so you can do all those things. Okay. And the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box, like a big $sign, that's how you can donate and help us with some of the expenses. And also consider joining joining Sparky's YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And that helps Sparky. It really does help him immensely. And also the super chats and the likes, the comments, all those things help the channel grow. So I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't do things or use words you wouldn't say around your own children and grandchildren. Without any further ado, I'm going to post a link so that we can get some guests in here and hopefully some new people. All right, so the link is posted now, and let me see what's going on in the channel, in the what I call the control panel. Let me see what's going on here. I'm in Sparky's YouTube studio. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, there it is. Okay, let me fix this here. Save that. Excellent. All right, let's see what's going on. Great. Looks like Tom Rammel is the top in the list. He says, Charles, you got a like from me. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. And Mike Rigel, he says, always click the like button. First thing, thank you. I really appreciate it. And Sparky does too. And Jeff Riley, hi, Jeff. Sounds like dinner was good. You know, I oh, this YouTube busted me. Oh, man, I didn't expect that to come on, and that just happened. I'm going to edit that part out. Trust me. I wish I could edit it out now, but I got to wait till finish streaming. And then Jeff Riley says, hi, Mike, how are you? And then Tom Rammel says, hi, Jeff. And then Mike Miguel says, doing pretty good. I'm tired. Had to work on the lawnmower today. All right, so we're all caught up. So we have a concurrent viewership of 7, and we have 5 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit the like button. Let's see here. And we see what's going on in where I'm at in the Zoom meeting. Let's see. No one's in here yet. All right. Well, I had hoped to have gone flying today. I was working on my red Strega early this morning, and I ran out of time. And hey, Mike. I think Mike's just coming in. I'll go continue my little story until he's all squared away. So anyways, by the time I got ready to go, it was already about 1:30ish, and where I fly at is across the street from San Pasqual High School. So if there's any, I think they're Eagles. If there's any Eagles out there, I'm just giving you a little bit of love to the I think it's San Pasqual Eagles. So I was just concerned that the timing of everything, the wind was up, I was there, and these high school kids, they're just they walk right in my circle. And so I usually, if I'm by myself, which I was today, I just thought it wasn't wise for me to try to put up a flight. So I just abandoned the idea of flying today. Got too late of a start, but hopefully tomorrow morning I'll have some company, and Joe Mata will be able to get some flying done and get this plane in better trim. So, hey, Mike.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing well. How are you doing? Thanks for coming in. You was the first one.
Yep,
And,
I'm on the mend, doing better. I'm still kind of tired a lot of the time, but
yeah, that's par for the course. I understand there's some underlying. It takes a while to recover completely. Hey, Tom, how you doing today?
Charles, I'm doing good. Do you have it open so that I can share? I'd like to kind of share something.
Yeah, I did it before I came in. I made it so that anybody can share.
All right. Well, first I want to show you this is working on this oven.
All right, let me change it to speaker view. And I think if I pin you, right? Or
yeah, you've got it, Charles. It looks good.
All right.
So I've been building this to build those tut boards, the SMT oven, and I've got some videos posted, and I'd like to just show a really quick one, just to share at the beginning here. This is fun. Aircraft related.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely,
absolutely.
Let's see, is that? Oh, let's see. What did I do something wrong here? Uh-oh. I guess I'm not sure how to do this.
Oh yeah, I know things are different from the other 2 platforms we've used. Even Rusty had another platform he used before that.
Okay, let's see.
Hey, Jeff Riley, you know what? It might have been this soft drink might have been the culprit, Jeff. That's probably what it was.
Oh, maybe I have to. I have several screens too, though. Huh.
I don't know what to.
Okay, maybe I have to try this again.
Well, Gary Sinclair came in. Let me say hi to Gary, or he's coming in. I see your name, Gary.
Where are you? Hey, Gary.
I know on the other program, it would allow me to share my second screen, but
Okay, we started.
I'm not sure how to do that on here.
Are you trying to show a YouTube video?
Yes.
Yeah, I was trying to find something while you was looking too.
So I have it up on my second screen, but if I do share, oh yeah, it lets me pick.
Yeah, if you
Let me
hit
try
that,
this, see if this works. There's another selection here.
Let it paste.
Did anything
I
happen?
see something about reflow, let it paste, phase, pre-soak, ramping
Does
up.
that show up? Okay, let me
Yeah.
start
yeah,
that.
reflow. Yeah, I see the reflow.
Let me, can you pin that to the main screen or not?
Yeah, I think it
Let's
is. That's
see here. I
came
mean,
up.
It is? Okay, let me try playing it.
Reflow profile. So it's going to graph out the temperature profile as it runs through the cycle. So the three dots at the top middle of the screen of the display are the three heating elements. We've added a third element. They call it the boost element, and it goes in the bottom also with the bottom heating element. So there's two heating elements in the bottom of the oven and one in the top. So it's working its way up to 140 degrees C, and then it'll level out at 140 degrees for the pre-soak or the soak, and then eventually it'll get up to, I believe, 165 slowly, but the curve will level out some there. And then once it reaches 165, then it'll climb fairly quickly up to 220 or so.
So I just sped it up here so you don't get too bored.
yeah. So that thing you attach to the oven, what is that called?
Which part? Oh, the controller?
Yeah.
The touch screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the controller. And then if you see just to the upper left of the controller, there's a servo mounted there. And when it completes the reflow process, when it gets up to 220, about 220 degrees or so, then it opens the door and helps it cool down faster. And so that servo is there to open the door.
Oh, that is very cool.
And I've got it sped up here.
Reflowing chips? What are you doing?
Surface mount printed circuit boards for the TUT timer, TUT timer.
Oh, okay.
There are several people that wanted a TUT timer, and so I'm going to build them for everybody. They're just the server.
I've got a little experience with that. I tried reflowing some graphics chips on some MacBook Pros. Oh my, what a neat fiasco that turned into.
It's hard to do unless you have the right equipment.
Hey, Tom.
So there it shows the curve that it follows to do the reflow. So that's it. I'll stop sharing now.
I think Dennis has a question for you, Tom. Hey, Dennis, thanks for coming in.
Hey, welcome, welcome everybody. Thanks for having me. Tom, you mentioned you're making timers. Are these? That was Tim Westcott's design, right? Do you make them for Tim or?
Yeah, I've been talking with Tim. He sent me the files. He's too busy to make any, so he said he's fine with me making some. So if you need one, you can buy them from me right now.
No, the tuts are certainly interesting. I really like, he has one, and I don't know, I think he has several different models, but he has one that some of the scale guys have been using that, excuse me, there's a video on it, shows a 4-engine B29 where it starts the engines and the timer automatically starts number 1, 2, 3, and 4, right in, in sequence. And then at the other end of the flight, it shuts down, after landing, after you throttle it back down, apparently it shuts off, like, I think it's the inner 2 engines, the outer ones are left on to simulate the B-29 coming back in, and they would use the outer engines to help steer the airplane and stuff like that. But I thought that was really a cool looking application for, for a scale model like that. Of course, he's making stuff for the stunt guys too, but I thought his scale, the 4-engine scale timer was really awesome. So
Yeah, this is the one that I'm building is the one that Howard had input into.
Okay.
So it has all of Howard's specifications.
Okay.
And all I'm doing is assembling them and providing it to people that want it, because Tim retains the rights, the design rights, and if he wants to produce them later, he retains that right also. But I'm just trying to help out, make them available to whoever wants them right now.
Yeah, that's good. So yeah, you can get rich in the meantime, right? So.
No, in fact, I'll be lucky if I break even.
That's it. I had a guy in the cake business tell me once that, the way you make a small fortune in the modeling business is to start with a large fortune. So.
Well, I don't have that, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's it.
I built this oven to do the SMT assembly flow. And so I've got that investment, which I tried to do it as cheaply as possible. And I put videos on YouTube about it, about how, the whole process. It's several hours worth of videos. But it's probably the cheapest that you could build an SMT oven for, but it's still, a few $100s.
I walked in the middle. Can you do multiple boards at the same time with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I can do as many as I can fit in the oven.
Or like 11 by 17 or something like that.
It's the tray is. I'll show you the tray. So
that's pretty good size.
that's the tray.
Yeah.
You
say it.
The size of those boards that you could do quite a few.
Yeah, it should be able to do quite a few.
What size is the platform of those boards?
They're just over one. It's like 1.2 inch square.
Oh wow!
Okay.
You can
Oh,
put
wow.
a lot of those in there.
So they're pretty small.
Yeah, it looks like you got 50 or 60 of them in there if you wanted it. So
Yeah, I don't know if I'll.
I don't know if you'd ever sell that many. Yeah,
I don't know if I could sell that many.
Yeah, really.
You never know.
So yeah, it's kind of a difficult situation right now because two of the main parts, the microcontroller and the gyro, are not available. So it's everybody that's already notified me that they want one. I've already told them it's going to be several months before I can get them produced. But
I don't know anything
trying
about
to get them to pay me up front so that I can use that money to buy components, because right now I'm not working and I don't have any income, so we're kind of tight right now, just for a while. I mean, I'll be fine once I get to my full retirement age, but that's another year away.
So just to explain to me, is I don't even have an electric plane built or assembled yet. I do have the SV11 kit, and I got the batteries, the motors, the ESCs, everything. So does this TUT replace a particular thing I'm already going to probably need for my airplane, or is this in addition to what I'm going to be installing in my new airplane?
It can take the place of the timer, and or it can be used in conjunction with the timer. But the specification that Howard put out is it takes off, it starts out at a constant speed for your takeoff, and then at the end you do a loop, and then it shuts the engine off after whatever time you have programmed in there.
Oh, wow.
And it can do it. There are a couple different modes. There's one you can do FAI mode, where it can blink an LED so that you know what quadrant of the circle it's in, and then so that you can prepare for the, have the landing set up to land where you want it to land, basically. And I'm sure that would take, several practices before you get it all figured out and working right. But it monitors where it is in the circle with the gyro.
When you do that kill loop, it won't kill it prior to a certain time, right? I mean, is there a certain amount of time has to elapse before that kill loop?
I don't know all the specific specification. I think it's the size of the loop. It's a tight loop, I believe. But you can check with Howard on that. I don't know exactly how he has that set up.
I hope it's time related.
No. Hate for it to happen on the 4-leaf clover at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good.
It's like my IC motor does that already. So what?
Yeah, that's it. I've done that with my glow engines. I don't want to do that with my electric. So. But
hey, Walter, thanks for coming in. And Gary, I said hi to you earlier, Gary. I haven't seen John yet, but I see he's here. And I need to catch up on the chat box. They've just ran away with their own conversations. Let me see if I can catch up. If I don't include them, they just start their own thing. So where are they at? Okay. So Jeff Riley says, being here in Los Angeles, there's too much concrete to buy a lawnmower. And Michael Gal says, yeah, I had to lay on the ground and change the drive belts on my John Deere, had to drop the deck to get to it, and the heat almost got the better of me. And then Jeff Riley says, ouch. And it's almost been cold here, only about 75 degrees today. And Marcel Legrand, he says, evening, Charles and Stunthangar team. And Mike Rigel says, I had made some fresh squeezed lemonade and finished it off after I came back in and sat in front of the AC. Jeff Riley says, sounds good. And Mike Rigel goes, it's good, all right, nice and cold. And Jeff Riley says, I like to mix, see, they're on their own, they're not even model airplanes. They're talking about the lemonade. So he likes to mix lemonade with iced tea. I guess it's called an Arnold Palmer. Yes, that's what it's called. Yep, here in South, lots of people drink lemonade with their sweet tea. And then Minnesota Mike says, hello. And then Minnesota Mike says, what is the gyro use? Excuse me. What is the gyro use? Is it used in helicopters? And Minnesota Mike, we're going to use this in these model airplanes, these stunt ships, that one that Tom Rammel's working on. Then Jeff Riley says, hi, Mike. And Minnesota Mike says, hi, Jeff. And then Minnesota Mike says, hi, Jeff. Todd Stinson, hey, how's it going? He says, good evening, everyone. Then Minnesota Mike says, I have a new gyro in the box. I know nothing about it. Got it from a buddy that passed away. And Minnesota Mike says away, and then Jeff Riley says hi, Todd. Now Jack came in, and Jack says hi, guys, and all else in the hangar or shop or all around the world, just saying hi and enjoy, and gave us a thumbs up. Thank you, Jack. And then, and of course, Jeff Riley says hi, Jack, and then Todd Simpson says hi, Jack, and we're all caught up. Now, you guys don't go any too far. Stay close in
Don't
here.
go so far afield.
So the gyro that he probably got from his buddy is probably for a helicopter, a radio controlled helicopter, and it controls the pitch of the tail rotor, depending on, you know, the rotation of the helicopter. So the gyros that I am building into this board, it's just a small chip that has a 3-axis gyro, and it surface mount solders onto the board. And it's used to determine if what orientation the airplane is in, control line airplane is in, during the flight.
So that if it starts acting stupid, it'll back the motor off or something, hopefully.
Well, actually, what it does is, depending on, you may have heard the expression active timer that some of the electric guys are using. What it does is it quite literally, if it senses the airplane is pointing nose high, it'll advance the throttle, come around. If it's pointing straight down, it'll throttle back, to try to maintain the speed and stuff like that. So in a roundabout kind of way, no pun intended, it's kind of like they use the same purpose they use the gyros for in a helicopter, to keep it pointing the right direction. And if it's out of line, it'll bring it back and stuff like that. Well, in this case, the out of line, it pertains to the climbing or diving attitude of the airplane. So, but yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so these SMT ovens, if you buy one already to go, the minimum they're $1,000, and price can go up. So
Yeah.
It's pretty.
A few years ago, I used to watch a guy named Louis Rossman in New York doing that with the Xiaomi. That was a pricey oven, I have no doubt.
Say, Tom, looks like in a pinch you could use it to make a toasted cheese sandwich too. So
Yeah,
could come in handy. By the after party, it's a pretty long show and stuff like that. You might be looking for a snack.
Sandwiches for us.
Yeah, that's it.
Might need a little different curve put in there.
That's it.
A whole lot hotter, it looks like.
Yeah.
Well, let me say hi to Walter and Eddie. Thanks, you guys, for coming in.
Hey, Eddie.
And Minnesota Mike says, okay, Tom. He goes, thanks for the info. He got it. So they anybody done any flying or anything since I've seen everybody last? I think we talked about last Friday. Today's Monday. Anybody fly over the weekend?
I did.
All right, Walter.
Yeah, I got for farm use in the air.
All right.
So,
How'd it go?
It flew straight and level. Having trouble trying to get the time down. It's flying at around 6.5 seconds per lap. And so I tried to change the prop from, I had a 11.7 on it, and put a 10.6 on it, I believe. And the 10.6 seemed to give it a little bit more torque, and also for some reason I felt like it had gave me a little more control, but I still had pretty much the same amount of lap time. So and I wanted to be very conservative this time. I wanted to make sure the plane
That'd be a
flew
lap time
well.
that it worked for me, but it won't work for most people, I don't think.
What?
So what's your line length, eyelet to eyelet, or center of the plane to center of handle?
60. Well, from center of the plane to center of handle, it's probably 62 feet.
Okay.
Center of the plane. The 60-foot lines, they were. So I'm used to what they told me it was. I bought the time. So I'm a little reluctant to decrease the length of the line, experimenting a little bit. And I'm not sure, but I think maybe I need to try to increase the RPM of the engine a little bit. I know that I did not experiment too much with just getting a standard, a good RPM for it. So, and I wanted to be very conservative this time, so I didn't want to crash the plane, do something stupid with it. So both flights were very, very conservative. So
Right.
yeah.
What
So,
what engine are you running?
running a Brodak 40, 5% nitro, and I have no idea what the RPM is. I should be checking that, but I think the plane needs to. I think the engine needs to be. I think I need to increase the RPM a little bit. I think I was running maybe a little bit too rich, so that I can get a little bit better of the 2-cycle. You know, when you turn it up and down. So I didn't get a good 2-cycle, 4-cycle feel on it. So before we make a lot of changes to line length, I think I'm going to try to make sure the engine is running at optimum speed, and then experiment with propeller size.
Yeah.
So, but the first flight or two, I got to tell you, the second flight, the engine ran along the ground all the way halfway around the circle.
Nice.
It was a great lawnmower, Then all of a sudden, it ran into a little bit of an area where there wasn't as much grass, and that plane just took off so smoothly and flew very, very well.
Wow, that's nice.
But I thought for a second that we'd created a go-kart more than a.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a wee bit slow there, Walter. But
yeah, I think so. So I think we're going to try. I think we'll make sure the engine is running at its optimum performance before we make any changes in line length.
Well,
So.
absolutely. Yeah, I was just
But
curious because the line length is a good indicator of where we're at. Plus now to know what your motor you have. Yeah, so it just sounds like you're just a little bit too slow of RPMs.
I think so. Yeah. So
actually,
anyway,
stay with the
it was
10-6
exciting
drop
for
too.
farm use flew.
Very
It
good.
flew level. You know.
That's great. That is
That's exactly it.
awesome.
I don't know anything about the Brodak 40 at all.
It's a
I
good
hear it's a
motor.
good Fox replacement and by far more powerful.
Yeah, it's a good motor. Nice.
I
and
don't know
light.
anything about it either. This is the first engine I've had for many, many years. You know, the last one I had was an old Fox 35. So, as far as control line. So,
But old slobber Fox.
Hey, John. Hello. How are you doing, man? Come on in.
Good. I can tell you a little bit about the Brodak 40. I got one of the first ones,
yeah.
and they had a problem with it, but the later ones run real good. That the first one didn't run worth crap.
I was reading that on Stunthangar where the first ones were a little bit poor construction or something.
Wasn't the construction? It was just the way they're timed. I
Design?
think. Yeah, I mean it's the same construction that's on the later ones, but they redid them and everything runs real good now.
Yeah.
I
Well,
sent mine back and Tom Hampshire sent it back with a note and said, "Hey, this thing runs just fine."
You know, I tried to start that old Brodak and or the very first one. I bought two, and finally I called Charles up and said, "Charles, what's going on here? This thing will not run." He says, "It's the glow plug." And I was thinking to myself, no way, the glow plug's a brand new glow plug. And sure enough, it was the glow plug. I put two in before I found the third one to work. And that was surprising.
I know.
That surprised me. So I guess that whole lot was not very good.
Yeah, it
What-
happened to me
what
too.
plug
I
was
told you the
that?
story about me at a contest, and I put a new glow plug. I was trying to start a Super Tiger 51, and some of the gentlemen there said, "Charles, what's going on with your plane?" I go, when I take the glow igniter off, it quits. And they go, well, change the glow plug. I go, I already put a brand new glow plug in. And they go, well, put another glow plug in. And that was the fix. I put another glow plug in and it worked. So sometimes even when you look at the glow plug and it's
Looks
bright
okay.
orange, that's for stunt, it doesn't matter. I mean, that doesn't mean it's good or not. It takes more than that to be a
So
good
now
Gotta
plug.
be
you know-
fairly hot.
So now you know why when glow plugs are getting up to 12, 15 bucks a piece, why I'm looking at and going to diesels and electric.
Well, my glow
Yeah,
plugs
the
cost me
K&Bs are
$4 a
basically
piece.
20 bucks a piece now.
Yeah,
Wow.
Let me see how
Yeah,
much
I
was this?
buy them in volume on eBay, at least 6 or 8 at a time. It's a little bit, you get a break when you do it that way.
I bought 5 Merlins for the engines I had that were the 2003 HD for $39.99. But the K&Bs are basically 20 bucks a piece.
Okay, I got a question for you. I bought this Fireball. I got the receipt right here. Fireball standard long glow plug cost me $4 a piece.
Yeah.
So do you get what you pay for? Because they've got prices all over the place. Or is it just
I think the
Probably
prices
got
have
an
jumped.
got them
Yeah, they-
earlier.
Yeah, the prices have gone up pretty drastically fairly recently, the last year or so. And, but fireballs used to be pretty good plugs. Used to use them. I don't know.
Well, I just got these in and Brodak, and I'll give them a plug because I like those people. They sold me those plugs for $4 a piece. So
Wow. That's a good price.
That's about the best.
Andy, I
price
got a
I've
question
ever
for
bought.
you.
Sir,
You using the green screen?
No.
I've been jumping around here. I've got the blur screen right now.
It looks weird.
Well, take a look at what it's got to work with. All right. So
You're not-
no,
There's
I'm
a
not
man who
around.
knows who he is.
I've
You're a
I've
handsome
seen
dude.
where people use. Let's see. Hang on a second.
Now I'm looking
Oh,
at the
wow.
chat box, and these guys are
How's that?
not on point.
At all.
Come on, you guys on the chat box, let's stay on with model airplanes.
Hey,
I mean, let's stay with model airplanes, please. I know that you guys can text each other, some other time and all that kind of stuff, but there's a lot of dialogue, and it has nothing to do with model airplanes.
Hey, is Marcel there?
Yeah, Marcel's there.
He's asking me. Let me back up a minute. He's been working on that Pathfinder twin, and he found out that the engines he's going to use took up more room in the nose. So now he's going to build new nacelles for it
oh boy.
and lengthen it out a little bit so he can get the tank in there and that. But he ran into a problem. He's out of balsa, or doesn't have a lot of good balsa back. And he wanted, apparently he's on lockdown. They're on lockdown for another week in New Zealand from the COVID.
Oh,
So I think he's going to try to. I asked him. He said his local suppliers will mail it to him. So hopefully he's got it. Like I said, he's got plenty of time because of being on lockdown to build. So, and he was well. If he wants to go, he can go ahead and write it down. I don't want to grab all its fire there, but he's doing a pretty good job, I think, on that Pathfinder twin.
Hopefully we'll get to see it at some point.
indeed.
He sent me some. I've got some videos. Maybe I'll dig them out, and if it's all right with him, I'll try posting some of them.
Yeah, Minnesota Mike asked, is it a twin pusher?
No, it's a tractor. It's the one that was It's the little red twin that everybody flew and thought it was absolutely wonderful. You flew it, didn't you, Denny?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh,
You sent me some plans and I took a Brodak ARF
yeah.
Pathfinder and I converted it to a twin.
Did you fly it?
Yes. It
How'd it fly?
Flew terrific. It was kind of funny. I had the single, Pathfinder single, used a 2820 motor, which means 28 millimeters in diameter and 20 millimeters long, magnets. Okay.
Yeah.
The twin used two 2810s, which meant the twin had the same amount of copper and iron in it, turned into props as the single did. It was literally,
And it flew good.
Yeah, so we had the twin and the single side by side. They both flew really well. My nephew was really flying them a lot, side by side. He liked the twin better. So
I like the
I flew
twin
the
better.
single quite a bit. I've only flown the twin a few times, and it got damaged. We don't have it put back together yet. But I've only flown the twin a few times, and it was good. And then like I say Arch the third, I should say, took it over, and he really, he got the motors working right and was messing around with props and everything like that, and really performing. It was about 3 ounces heavier than the single by the time it was done, but that was really about the only difference between the two. So
What size props were you used on it? 9.4s?
9 4.5s,
Yep.
left and right.
Were you running them both the same direction or?
Tried that. Ended up with the normal prop on the left side and the reverse prop on the right side. So they were turning, top of the props came toward each other.
Yeah. The original, the red one, runs with both props running the same direction.
Yeah, I originally had it set up that way. I had actually larger motors and I had 10 5s on it, both turning, normal direction. I remember the thing took off and it just kind of pivoted in the air, and I thought, oh, this is interesting. And it got, and the lines tightened up and everything was all right. But I was a big fan of opposite rotation. That's right after that, we got that fixed. So then we went to, it was basically 2 nose heavy with the bigger motors, and I thought there was too much prop on it. So we went to the smaller motors and went from the 10-inch to 9-inch props, and I was really performing. So
Yeah.
How do you get an engine to spin in the opposite direction? What kind of adjustment do you have to make to it?
Well,
I
go
don't
ahead,
know.
Danny. You're the electric guy.
They're using.
Well, yeah. Well, first off, it's really easy to set up the motor. The motor is equally happy turning either direction, so that's not an issue.
Oh,
And what you
okay.
get is the torque going the opposite direction gives you some different flight parameters. It actually increases line tension in a couple of places that are really handy, like the top of the vertical 8 and the top of the hourglass and stuff like that. The line tension is superior to anything you can do with a normal prop. So yeah, once I tried it, I have not flown anything except the opposite rotation prop since. So how do I compare to each? I don't really know. I know the first ones we changed props and didn't bother retrimming the airplane at all, at least not right away. And now when I set up an airplane, I just I trim it out the way I normally would. I think one observation I do have, I tend to fly with my lead out position farther forward than a lot of people do, and especially out west now, they've been flying with the lead outs way back. But things like tip weight and stuff like that don't really matter. I don't think there's any difference in any of the other controls or anything like that. But
I think Walter may have been asking how you get the motor to turn opposite direction, and on an electric.
Oh, you mean just mechanically how you do it?
Yeah.
Reverse.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
2 of the
I'm
3.
sorry.
Is that what you're asking, Walter?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Walter. I completely blew that. There's 3 wires between the motor and the ESC, the speed control. And basically, if you switch any 2 of the 3 wires, it changes the rotation of the motor.
No, I'm talking about gasoline or
That's
for example, a
hard.
Broda. Let's just, for
I think
example, a
OS
Broda
used to
40.
make some real.
Yeah,
How do you
if
get
you
to-
want to do it, if you want to do it with a gas engine, you have to get a new crankshaft with the timing slot rotated around about 90 degrees, I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
and as far as I know, you can't get there from here with any of the gas engines out there. They used to be able to get a lefty crankshaft for the Fox 35, and they made a opposite rotation camshaft for the original OS 4-stroke 40.
Thought at one
But-
time they had some reverse rotation regular OSs, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it for an OS. I'm not disputing. I don't recall seeing it, but it wouldn't surprise me too much because OS did do a lot of stuff in home market stuff that we didn't necessarily see over here either. But and then there's a gentleman in Oklahoma, Bob. All right, I'll think of his last name in a minute here. But he was building some of the big Sato 4-stroke engines, and he took the camshaft out of the Sato twin. I forget, the left cylinder, right cylinder had opposite rotation or opposite timed camshafts.
Bob Reeves.
Thank you. And Bob Reeves, he used to take the camshaft, whichever side was opposite, he used to put that into a Sato 56 or 62 or 72. I think he did all three of them. And he could make the engine run opposite that way. So,
That
yeah, well,
sounds like an awful lot of work.
The thing
he
I
was able to get the service part, just the part.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more expensive, but wasn't that hard. 4-stroke engines I got a couple off eBay and started messing with them and stuff, and they weren't as intimidating to work on as I thought. So they were fun. They're fun to do. In fact, I have an OS 40 4-stroke, the original one, and it's sitting in a box here because I've been looking all over the place trying to see if I can score one of the reverse camshafts for it. So I've had no luck at all. But it's really funny. I saw them come up on eBay in the past, and I just let it go. And it's like, you dummy,
thing I've found about twins is we used to always have to go with IC, with gases, I guess you'd call it. And the problem was that too many people stuck with, you had to have a pair of 35s and it'd pull your arm off. And it wasn't until the B-17 was flown, and on 415s, and that was a big airplane, that some people started thinking, well, wait, we don't need those big engines, and we don't need to have them yanking our arm off, because you want to finesse the airplane through the pattern. So then they started going somewhat to smaller motor or engines. The thing we found in the end was, unless you're a really good motorman and you like playing with motors, you want to go with an electric for a twin, because you're not fighting the engines all the time, trying to get them synced in and get them to quit close to the same time. There's nothing more frustrating to get halfway through that pattern and have one of your engines quit. And then the other engine, you think because it's pulling the whole load, you think it would quit soon? No, it'll run twice as long because it's loaded. And so you'll sit there and you'll do eight minutes on one engine, and I mean, it's just frustrating. And so electric twins,
I think
are really the way to go, right, Denny?
well, that's it. I built exactly one glow engine twin, and I figured 2 engines caused 8 times as many problems. So I only flew it a little bit, and it actually flew pretty well, but it was just what you're talking about. The thing had been flying very well. And then the one flight, my brother was actually flying it, and he lost an engine for no discernible reason. You know, they sounded like they were both running really good. And about 3 or 4 minutes in, one of them, the inboard engine, of course, shut off. And it was like, how the heck did that happen? You know, or why did that happen? And I don't know. When we got to electric, I built what, 3 electric twins now, 2 electric twins. I'm sorry. And gosh, they're easy. It's almost cheating. So
What was Wendy running in the B25 or the
well,
A26?
they were glow, but didn't he also have throttles on them?
On the 826, I think he did. He had
Yeah, okay.
throttles
So
on.
he was like throttling down for landing or whatever else and everything. But yeah, he was using glow on that. As far as I know, Wendy never
Yeah.
built an electric airplane.
On RC twins, the throttle linkage is much easier on electric. You don't have a throttle linkage, you just have 2 ESCs.
That's it.
That makes
those
it a lot
three
easier.
wires are pretty easy to run compared to a good set of push rods. So
Right.
Yes, let me say hi to Carl. Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in. And we have Brendan. Brendan came in. Thank you, Brendan. And
was there a minute ago. So
and on the chat box, let me see what these guys are talking about. There was a comment for you, John, by Marcel Legrand. He says, "Hi, John. You can show anything I sent you. Show them the finished table if you want." You showed them that last time, right? You showed us the finished table.
Oh, yeah. That was
But he
pretty
said you can show anything you want, John, that he sent you.
Okay,
So if you have any pictures of the airplane, that would be great if you can pull
I'm just looking for them now.
them. Okay.
I got something to show.
All right, Eddie, go ahead.
Got it in.
All right.
Wow.
Very nice.
Only thing, the description said it was missing the landing gear.
Oh, that's no problem.
That's what I thought. But there's no hardware kit, and which is no big deal. I've got all that. But it's got 3 ribs. All the ribs are gone. So
That's okay. They're all the same
have to-
anyways.
I'm gonna have to cut the ribs out. But the good thing about the Banshee is it's a straight wing. So
Right.
I'll do it just like I did my Corsair. I made 2 took the 16th inch plywood, made my 2 rib templates, sandwiched the balsa between them, and sanded down to the plywood, and had all my ribs in one swipe.
yep.
Yes, I misspoke. I meant the center section ribs are different than the other ones, but I said
Right, yeah. I'll have to make 2 different sets, but I think there's 4 of them are where your sheeting is different than the regular, but they the regular wing ribs, the leading or the trailing edge is notched out for the 16th inch sheet to make the trailing
Mhm.
edge. Other than that, everything's there. I
that's
probably will have to make another doubler, because one of them
Go ahead, finish.
okay. There's one, and there's the other, and it's all whopper jawed on me.
yeah.
So I'll
They're
either have
gonna
to-
move
I see somebody's plans. on my
They're gonna
side.
move the wing forward, 1.5 inches, right?
Yeah, I got some wood. I plug that hole and recut it.
Okay. Okay, this is the beginning of his construction. He's got the plans on his table,
Yep.
and it's a built-up fuselage.
Cool.
And here he's getting his wood ready in that, getting his parts ready. And he did this in a matter of a week. I was amazed at the guy. So he's got quite a shop going there. Let me move this a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to have to go pick up the next one.
Okay.
Let's see, make sure I got the right one.
Yeah, you don't want to come up with something that's not a.
Not ready for prime time. Yeah, yeah.
Oops, wasn't supposed to show that.
Oh,
Okay, can you see? Oops, where'd
You
it go?
get your clothes
oh,
on.
you
Just
had it.
flashed and then it went away.
Yeah, that looks
Flash,
really good.
I saw a quick flash of something there. It looked like a table.
Yeah.
There you go.
There was another one, looked like a fuselage.
Okay, there's the back of the engine pod. Can you see him?
Yeah.
Okay, and there's the tail end of the fuselage. Now he made his fuselage 3/4 of an inch thick, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah.
He
heard
started
a
out
thing.
with a 1/2 inch in the framework in there, and then he sheeted both sides with 1/8 inch balsa.
Mhm.
And I think it makes for a real strong fuselage. I like the idea. And there's the front of his fuselage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
does that look nice?
That's gonna be a pretty airplane.
That
Yeah.
sure is.
Okay, now I'll go pick up the next one.
Hopefully.
Let's see, make sure I get the right one here. No, we did that one already.
Are the nacelles built up and hollow also?
You know, I didn't ask him. I don't think they are though.
Well, if he's online, he can answer that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
There's one here that says, "Hi, John, I almost finished the engine pods and fuse now," but.
oh,
Down,
really?
yeah,
Okay, there's his table. See, he stopped at this point because he ran out of good balsa wood.
oh geez,
And he didn't like his table, so he wanted a new one.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we saw that the other day. That's a gorgeous piece of work.
isn't that? Oh,
I wish I was
Yeah,
gonna
there's-
get to go, but I'm not.
I wish I was skilled enough to make a table like that.
Hmm.
And I mean, I'm suspecting he did that just a day or two.
Well, I don't know. I got some balsa in the rack there that I should use for building a table like that. But,
Yeah.
only trouble is it'd be too hard. Never be able to put a nail or pin into it or anything like that.
Yeah, you'd have to pre-drill the holes.
That's it. So
Very nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
speaking
it
of
sounds
all
like-
that,
just stunning. Just
Sound like
beautiful
you got.
work.
I made an
Sound like
order
you-
the other day for 2 quarts of fuel that I now have from SIG, and they shipped right away 4 sheets of contest 3/32 by 4 by 36. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of wood they're getting now.
Yeah. I went and looked at some
I'm
pictures
gonna be
of it.
picking it up at
I
the post
suspect they were
office
showing the
tomorrow.
best wood.
Sounds like Danny's got some
There's the
balsa
side
like
view
some
of
of
that.
mine.
That
Look at
fuselage.
that.
Yeah.
Well, that looks nice.
That's
Isn't
just
that pretty?
beautiful.
Come back here.
That's pretty.
That looks
is pretty.
nice.
And like I say, the fuselage is thicker. I would be tempted to make the nacelles and the fuselage 3/4 inches thick. You know, I really
What's the
would.
rolling on that and still be profile? Does it 1/2 inch at the trailing edge?
3/4 of
or-
an inch at the trailing edge.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd do that too then.
How, if I wanted, when I get my Excaliburs done, are they gonna legally qualify as profile? Because the way Dick Mathis did it, he put 2 half, instead of ply, it has 2 half-inch balsas on either side.
what you do is you make sure you can see your mounting lugs.
Yeah, and
Okay.
if you build it the way you said, but to your point, I think most of the local rules I've heard about anyway, not I certainly haven't heard anybody, but basically you can do almost anything you want in front of the wing. You know, because profiles are notorious for having, you know, whippy fuselages and everything like that. People have been pretty understanding about things like cheek calls and other braces and stuff. You know, behind the wing, like John said, the 3/4 inch rule seems to be in there. I've even heard some people, you know, going 1 inch. But if you can keep it, say, you know, rule of thumb, keep it ahead of the high point of the wing, you'd probably be all right. So
Yeah, the side pieces only go about that far over the edge of the wing.
Right.
yeah,
So
they
they
did. They
should be
kind of blend
fine.
out rough. I've got an Excalibur in the box. I got one of Walter's kits for it. That's one of the
Oh,
projects
wow.
for this winter, I hope.
I built one and flew it in competition for 3 or 4 years. And I'll tell you what, you blunt the leading edge. You got the Excalibur 1 or Excalibur 2?
I'm building the one with the turbulators.
Okay, that's the legal one for classic. Just blunt the leading edge just a little bit more than what it shows on the plan.
Okay.
And I made my stab and elevator out of 3/16 instead of 1/8 inch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise it'll wander everywhere.
Mine out of 1/8. So,
And I'll tell you what, that plane flies better than it ought to be able to.
Mhm.
It is really a good flying airplane.
Mine
And you
didn't
get
last
the-
long, but I sure enjoyed it.
Yeah, and you get the gear mounted where it's supposed to be, and it'll land and roll on the mains until it's ready to set the tail down. It's
Mhm.
it's a fine design. And the nice thing about that airplane is it is really a triple threat, because you can fly it in classic, you can fly it in profile, and if you want to, you can fly it in the intermediate and advanced class. You know, I don't think
that's kind of
you could fly it in expert if you had nothing else to fly, but you know.
Yeah.
So I
that's
guess
kind
you'd
of
say
the
you can fly
plan. It's
Pepper.
going to be the one I learn on before I build my Aries.
Yeah, well,
The-
I don't want to crash an Aries. But
no.
that one's no biggie to rebuild.
Well, Dick Mathis was a pretty good designer, I think.
I think so too. I have the original article he wrote about it. He wrote about going into the hobby shop and just grabbing a handful of wood to build it.
Mhm.
Well, back in those days you could.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine weighed about 39, 40 ounces, something like that. I had a OS 35S on it.
What? Oh,
Well, I've got a
Can't remember
better
what that was.
engine for mine now. I was going to put a G21 35 on it, and I thought,
no.
I don't want a combat engine on my stuff.
No.
Yep.
If-
And I
if-
managed to pick up for $24 a G21 40, which is a stunt engine.
there you go.
I'll tell you what, if you're looking at,
I don't, man, I wouldn't trust it. The G21
It's the
40.
baffle piston. It's drastically lower compression than that 35.
But the
is,
case
That
in point,
35's
my
flat
the
top
40
with the big laminar flow ports.
yeah, the 40s were designed for rat race, and that's what
This
they
actually was the RC, so it's even
did. Even the
higher.
RCs, yeah, they put a
It's got
carburetor
four-
on the same engine. The 40s were faster than the 46s. All right.
yeah,
I'm going to try
And
it.
the 46s made nice stunt engines, but lousy, you know, they made lousy racing engines. Yeah.
If
I'm
I
going
was
to
to
try
be
it on
building,
there.
if I was to be
If
building
not, I'll
one,
just put a bigger prop on it, slow it down.
if I was to be building one and I wanted to be at least a little competitive with it, I certainly would. I would look at, first off, your lighter engines, a Fox, a McCoy, a Vico,
An Enya.
an Enya, an OS
I don't have any of
35S,
those.
any of those.
I got
would
some
work.
very beat up, ruined old McCoys. I don't have anything else.
Well, they're
I
real
have
cheap.
something else coming from
They're-
the man that was there earlier, which is a Johnson 35, but
uh,
it'll be there.
it's too heavy.
Johnsons are
I
heavy.
don't know about that one.
Do you have a Fox 35?
No, not that I want to
They're
use.
cheap on eBay.
They are cheap and they're great learning motors. You can get a Fox running good and set the needle. You get out there in the morning, you set the needle, and you might have to touch the needle before you leave if you fly 10 flights and got 4 or 5 people flying. But normally you go 3 or 4 weeks without touching the Fox needle valve. It just works.
And
They're great
especially if you
sport
get,
engines. They're great learning engines.
especially if you get one of those needle valve assemblies from Randy Smith that he.
Yeah, if you get one of Randy's or even a Super Tiger needle valve, you got it made. But that thing that comes with them from Fox, especially that one that's straight shaft, it looks like
With
it's
the
just
flat
been
end
cut
on
off
it.
on one. That thing's pitiful. I've got one on my Skyray right now because the other needle got broken. Somebody, I don't know what happened. Anyway, it's coming off. That flat needle's coming off. That thing's terrible. But you put a good needle on a Fox 35, you'll have a good motor. But that Super Tiger 35, if you're going to use it.
No, I'm using the 40, not the 35.
Well, I'd use the 35 instead of the 40 because like they said, that 40 is a runaway motor. That thing is meant to go one way, wide open. But a 35 flat top, that's a combat motor. What you can do is make a couple extra head gaskets and put in it, put a 10-inch 4-pitch prop on it, and fly it like Bob Barron did in his EP6 or whatever the heck, I can't, something 6.
PA6.
PA6, okay. And that thing, it flew. That was one of the first high RPM low pitch setups I'd ever seen.
Yeah,
and it worked.
The only successful 40 G2140 I ever saw was a baffled piston engine. The gentleman ran an 11.4 Tornado, a Grish Tornado yellow nylon prop on it. Ran it at a 2-cycle. This is back in like 1964, 65 time frame. Nobody knew what the heck he was doing, you know. And everybody, oh yeah, that engine sounds funny. Yeah, but that airplane sure flies. Yeah, but the engine sounds funny, you know. Engine sounds funny, won the day, you know. Everybody, my brother wasted 3 or 4 airplanes because he insisted on trying to use a Tiger 40. He wanted to use a 40 so he could avoid going to 18,000 lines. And he built 3 or 4 airplanes for Tiger 40s, and every one of those engines was a sinkhole. It just never ran right. I wanted to say something a little more colorful, but
I know of one airplane that flew a Super Tiger 40 to begin with that did really well. I know of one airplane that flew a Super Tiger 40 to begin with that flew really well. It was called USA 1.
It had a 46 in it.
No, it did. It had a 46.
He had
that's Billy Woolridge's airplane.
That's
Billy
Billy's airplane had a 40 and 70.
No.
It had a 46 in it.
It had a 46 in it at the Nationals.
Ask Billy. Somebody asked Billy.
I actually found out there was another guy who was was having a lot of good running engines and everything like that, allegedly with a 40. And he admitted about 20 years later that his 40s were 46s. Because you could take the 46 parts and put them in a 40 crankcase. That's what he did. I don't think Billy did that. I don't think Billy did that because he just bit the bullet on the 46 and
I just got through reading the USA 1 article, and basically he flew an open stack 40 for 70, and then they was informed that they had to have mufflers for 72, so that's when he went to the 46. I also saw where he had helped him with that.
But I saw the original USA 1 at the Nationals in 1969 and the FAI team trials that fall, and he had a 46 on it both times I saw it. But Billy also used to run a lot of different engines. Later on he was running some of Al Ray's oversized engines. Ray was building what,
51s
51s,
or something.
56s, and 60s, I think, and the 46. He even tried
Mhm.
those, and he ended up going back to the 46 because it was the best total match for the airplane. The airplane,
Yeah.
the original USA one was kind of a flexible flyer. I mean, you could watch the wings flex and stuff like. It was not a
It's
happy airplane
huge.
if it was
No,
if it was
none of
overpowered.
Billy's airplanes are heavy, but it's
Yeah.
huge.
Well, and it was not a happy airplane if it was overpowered, and it really didn't like flying in the wind very much for the same reason. But
Well, back to the Excalibur,
yeah,
you could run an OS 20 FP on a high RPM low pitch on that. It'd be just fine. It's a very lightweight airplane, and
Yeah, it is. It's
it
real
doesn't need a huge gob of power. It needs good steady power. So it needs something that's controllable and it doesn't run away on you. And that a 25 FP, you could use. You don't need a 40. I don't think an Enya 35 would be beautiful in there. You know,
I don't have one.
well,
I had a McCoy 35 in mine, and it ran great. That's what I built it for. I had a bunch of. I say a bunch back then. If you had 3 of something, that was a bunch of them. But I had 3 McCoy 35s, and I decided I'd build something, put it on it, because all I had the only thing I had to run a McCoy was an old Buster, and I built that plane and put it on it, and it flew just perfect. That was perfect power for that motor, for that airplane. Till I hit a pro with it.
The article.
Oh, hey, Eddie.
He
That
ran
looks nice.
the prototype Redhead 40 in it,
Yeah,
and it
but,
ran good in that.
That'd be a good one.
yeah.
If you could find the old Lightning Bolt 40.
Well, what you want to find is a lightning.
Oh,
that's
that's
a lightning bolt, but the head's blue. That means
Be the RC, right?
Right,
Yeah,
it
it was
was
RC. If
RC,
you see,
the cut-
if you look, it's been they had to cut the webbing out to put the
right.
Venturi in it.
That's
Mhm.
nice, Eddie.
Yeah, it is.
That
That's really nice.
that engine right there would be a perfect engine.
That would.
Even though it's a 40, it's light. The lightning bolt was by far the best in that series of McCoys.
I'd like.
Mhm.
I'm gonna get that on a plane one of these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a 35 and a 40 that I bought at a sale, and I had a 60, and the guy borrowed it
Didn't come
without
back.
telling me. Yeah, I've had a lot of motors disappear out of the basement that, I know it was there and somebody come over and I can't find it, but then a year later when you still haven't found it, you got to realize it's not misplaced, it's gone.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So
That's irritating.
so oh yeah, well, then the same guy come back and wanted to go back in the basement. No, I mean, people get mad at me because I won't, but I mean, if it's happened to me once, it's not going to happen to me again.
right.
Have to have an escort.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm looking forward to playing with that Stunt Supreme because of the lower compression. I'm having a feeling it.
I'm
might-
hoping it's a Stunt Supreme. All I know for sure it's a Johnson 35,
Okay.
but I tried to get to it. But like I told you, I've got a lot of stuff down there. It's not mine.
Yeah.
And I went down there to try to get to it. And I said, well, there's the box it's in, but I didn't realize all that crap was on top of it. So I'll work on it some more tomorrow. I will.
Okay.
I'll call Charles when I get it out, which will
Okay,
probably be
I'd
tomorrow.
appreciate. Or
Anytime.
if you want, I can give Charles my number too. Or do you?
Well, I
can
got your
give you my
address.
number.
I got your address. I got a little box that my computer's sitting on here. Not so big. It'll be headed your way as soon as I find that motor.
Okay, sounds good.
Because I have
I'm
no
looking
use for
forward
it.
to
I'm going
trying
electric.
Uh-oh.
This one's
I
a
bet
little.
I've had that.
Well, you
I
sure
bet
got
I've had
that
a motor
mounted
30
fast.
years. How did he do that?
Yeah, he sure got
Hey.
it mounted fast, didn't he, guys? Oh,
Yeah. How you were able to do these things?
How did
This
he
is
do
my
that?
dad's. This is my dad's Cosmic Wind.
yeah.
It's
Oh.
the plane was built in '62,
Oh wow.
1957 Redhead McCoy, and it's the most
35?
reliable engine
Yeah.
we've got. I mean, that thing, you out there and plop it a couple of times, it starts and runs till it runs out of gas.
Yeah.
Plane's,
Nice.
that plane's been, there's no telling how many miles been on that plane.
That was your
I've
dad,
got-
huh?
Dad don't get to fly none. He's fixed to turn 82, and he's the last 5 years he's slowed down real quick, you know.
Okay, sorry to hear
But
that.
I'm sorry.
yeah, his knees. He sent a hatchet through his knee when he was 16, and it's starting to act up on him. But
Oh, man.
he used to.
The things we do when we're young catch up.
Well, he was
Yeah.
kindling and it glanced. But anyway, it's caught up to him, but he still likes to watch. I was wanting to see.
Yeah.
I was hoping he could go with me up to when we went to the Nats in Muncie, but he wasn't. He had a doctor's appointment that week and couldn't go. So maybe he can go
I'll tell
next
you.
year.
That'd be fun.
Show them the video of Dayton when Wesley Dick is out there flying that.
I did. I showed him. Yeah, that dude's 89 years old, man.
He's a really good flyer still.
We ought to see that. Have you looked at that airplane he flies?
Is that
Those crazy
those-
flaps on it.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Velvet.
yeah,
I saw the Velvet for the first time at Brodak, and he was walking by, and I said, "Wesley, wait a minute." And he stopped, and I said,
they're basically aircraft.
"My eyes are
outlet
going
flaps.
My eyes are going crazy here. That looks like a 737 flap." He said, "Well, basically it is." And I got looking at that thing, and I said, "I want one of those. That's neat." But I don't know. I haven't got it yet, but I'll get in touch with him one of these days. Brodak was going to cut me one, but I never did get it. But as expensive as
I
wood
thought
is
you
now,
did
until
a
I'm ready to build it, I'm
Stunthangar
not gonna buy it.
article or something on that. I think you did an article on those flaps.
RSM
I'd like-
sells
I'd like to read
RSM
it.
sells the kit.
No, not RSM. Brodak has a short kit of the Velvet.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting one.
Yeah.
I thought it was a neat looking kit. The thing that got me about it, I mean, honestly, I thought Wesley looked pretty good flying that little black Stuka. I thought he looked pretty good flying the Velvet. But once I found out he was 89 years old and flew that well, okay, I'm in. that's cool. He's a neat guy. He's a really neat guy. I got to talking to him, and he makes a lot of sense. He says if it works on an airliner, it's got to work on a darn model. It's just a model. And the fact it's just a model, and the way he said it, I said, how am I going to argue with that? I mean, he's a smart guy.
Yeah, well, Wes in his career with Dana Axel, he was a really, active. Well, he was in the advanced engineering section, working on axles and stuff like that. He was doing things like at the SAE convention in Detroit. He was giving some of the he gave the keynote presentation, the so-called the Buckendale lecture, the one year and stuff. That's a prestigious thing.
Yeah.
The man is an engineer through and through, and just because he retired 20 years ago, that
yeah, don't mean a thing.
He's still an engineer. I mean, wait till you see his next airplane. All right, he he's gonna. I'm not even going to talk about it except to say that he's going to go some places that the flaps are going to look tame by comparison. So
good gracious. Well, I tell you what, I'm waiting to see a Canard.
I know he'll make it work too. That's what's cool. So
I'm waiting to see a Canard. I'm waiting to see a stunner with a Canard. I believe it's coming. I believe it's coming.
Done.
Yeah, it's been done not terribly well.
I want to see it
but
done.
yeah.
I want to see it done convincingly, though. One that works.
I want to see somebody campaign it and put their nationals event on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
But I tell you what, he's a neat guy, and I've known a bunch of engineers in my day, and I've worked under an engineer. I mean, they would design a circuit, I had to build it, and then they take it over to the lab and destroy it. They want to see, torture it and see what it could take and what it couldn't take. And we got to where we'd build one and then build another one, and let them try the way it was originally built, and then try the way that no more than I knew that would go. And we had a lot of fun with that. I mean, we weren't supposed to do it at all, but we did it and had a lot of fun with it. But it was just fun to see them just destroy something you spent 2 weeks building. But
that would get old.
And I think Howard's going to do a flight. You guys see Howard outside?
Yeah.
Howard Rush. I think he's going to do a flight or something.
Oh,
Wow,
That's my
now that's
suspicion.
a show and tell.
He's still got daylight at his house.
Yeah.
Okay, well, before we do that, can I do a quick share screen here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure,
It's all
sure.
set
I'm
up.
gonna try anyway. I'm not very good at this.
And by the way, hi, Phil. Thanks for coming in, Phil.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
wow.
I'm fixing to fly some.
Half hour
flags.
later.
Fixing to fly some
Crap.
what,
Did
Howard?
that open up right? I don't think it did. Damn it.
Clicking on that picture of the twins.
Yeah, did you see a
Didn't
picture?
open
of the-
up.
You gotta have the picture open, not your directory. So you gotta have the picture you want to share open.
Like
There
that?
you go.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's pretty.
That blue and yellow one was
Gorgeous.
mine. The blue and yellow
Ooh,
one
yeah.
was mine.
Oh,
The
wow.
red and white one was Gordon's, and now it's
Oh,
Howard's.
those are both beautiful.
They're gorgeous.
Howard's got that now.
Yep.
Pretty airplane.
The difference on there, you'll notice the blue heads on mine. Mine had LAs on it.
Yeah.
Gordon's had FPs on it.
Well, see,
we
that's the
found-
Which
airplane.
one
that-
made the better power?
We found that the FPs had more power than the LA.
Yeah. Yeah, it's FP, LA, and then the Brodak 25 in that order.
Yeah.
What
Very
size are
nice.
those 25s?
No, those
Yeah.
are 15s.
Those
15?
are 15. Okay. Now
15?
mine was built to be a 25 or has been started to be a 25, but now it's getting mortified. It's going to be an electric.
Well,
That's sharp.
15s with the FPs, 15s have plenty of power to pull that plane around
Wow.
with authority.
Wow.
And you go bigger, you just, in my opinion, you're just wasting fuel. I mean, yeah, you
Well-
can do it, but you need to extend the nacelles to get enough tank back there.
Yeah.
Did
Well, you know
the
what got
second
me?
picture, I put up a second picture. Did that open up? You see a different?
Oh, yeah.
Pathfinder?
Seen it yet.
You got to close
Wait a minute.
this picture out.
Ah, boy.
What got me about those, John, is it just blows my mind that 215s pull better than 140.
Well,
I don't understand.
did you see Walker's B-17 with 450?
Oh, yes.
That was
I did.
100 and so, it was a 100-ounce airplane, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah. I picked it up at the Nationals. It was heavy. I couldn't believe it. It was heavy. But I told Paul, I said, I can't believe you did this much work for an airplane and got this airplane to fly as good as it does and put on the show that it does. And the judges do not seem to be taking you serious.
Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? I said, look at your scores. They're not taking you seriously. They think you're out here just having fun, playing around, because that plane flew a heck of a lot better than the scores they're giving you.
Yep.
I've done a lot of judging and you scored better than what they gave you.
Well, I
Now, I
think they
shouldn't have
were,
said anything. I don't think I should have said anything because the next year he was back to flying the Impact or something like that, Predator or something. And I like that B-17.
there you go.
Mustang
There's
was
the
neat
electric
too, though.
one.
Oh, there we go.
Pretty.
Let me see.
What motors were on that?
2810s.
I'm still at
2810s?
this. Yes.
Wow. That is nice. That is pretty.
Yeah, and this is, like I said, I just used the Brodak Pathfinder ARF,
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna use.
Closed up the nose and then, built some nacelles for it.
Mhm.
And everything like that. And the only reason I wanted to show that, I figured this one, when you see this, you'll really appreciate how great Marcel's is looking,
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
I mean,
gorgeous.
Marcel is doing it. He's off to a fabulous start and everything like that. But yeah, this flew very, very well. But it got damaged, being repaired. We haven't got around to fixing it all and getting it airborne again, but it will be eventually.
See,
Yeah,
now
so
you
you
were,
missed the 2810. The twin flew with 2810s and the single flew with a 2820. All right. So they had
Oh,
exactly the same
Howard is
amount of
flying.
copper and iron in them. So.
there he goes.
Ah,
Okay.
geez,
Where's
you know,
Howard?
Something
thought I
appeared,
stopped
it
hearing.
disappeared.
There he
Nope,
goes.
it is.
Lane. He's just buzzing us.
Howard's buzzing.
There he is.
Oh,
Oh, rats.
Whoa,
Consistent.
Well, how do we get it to go? I can't see it.
Yeah, I can't.
you
see
gotta
it.
watch it.
You
It's
have
goes
to
by,
watch
it goes
it.
by in a
oh, he's
flash.
doing
He
a
just
pattern.
went
Let me
over.
see if I can
Just did a
pin it.
went over.
See if I can pin it to the first screen.
UFO.
Can
See,
you guys see it now?
No, I see you, Charles.
Okay, maybe
There, it flashed.
There it is.
See
There
the
it is.
sky. There he goes. There's a loop, it looks like.
let's see if he's one on top of the other. Yeah, pretty much.
pretty much.
That's it.
All right.
Charles, it's showing guys again.
I don't know what I did. Let me see. Let me try something different.
Can you isolate him?
There it is. That's Sky.
There he is. No, now
Fine.
we're back.
He's inverted.
Hang on. Let me pin it to the second screen. Hang on a second. Let me see here. I'll pin him
There he goes.
and pin him to the second screen. And how's that?
Good. You got to stop talking though. That's the twin he's flying.
He done electrified that little booger.
No. If that's
It
a
sounds-
twin, it's got a pair of 15s on it.
Wow, it's got a heck of a sound.
Well, those little 15s are pouring their little hearts out.
Now, the only reason I wasn't going to go 15s because I had two 25s and the 15 was more expensive than the 25.
Sounds electric.
Yeah, that's the twin. That thing just flies right where you point it. There's no hesitation. It's the easiest plane I ever flew.
Oh, that was pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
That's why the old boy. That's why the old boy ended up top 10 at the Nationals. He can fly.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he can.
Good grief.
It's nice. Yeah, I think the man can fly. That is
That was
That
pretty.
might not have been the twin. I saw white wings on that one. When he went by before, I saw red tails. That's what made me believe it was a twin. But it may not have been. But whatever it was, it can fly.
Oh, big.
Yeah, he's a good flyer. First few times I saw Howard fly, he was destroying boss and flying combat. And now, first time I saw him flew stunt, I said, he can't be serious. And I watched him fly, and he is serious. He's also very good. But I mean, look who he flies with and who coaches him. Good grief.
Well, how many barrels of fuel has he gone through?
That's
You want to guess?
if he hangs around with Paul, he's probably gone through a bunch because Paul told me he bought a 55-gallon drum. of fuel and had gone through it before the World Championships.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how much he'd burnt that year. I said, good Lord.
Wow.
How
That's
many
why they're
engines
as
get to
good
go
as they
through?
are. That 4 or 5.
I had
that
no
group of
idea.
4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, Howard
A lot
can
of
fly,
fuel.
so can Paul.
Burn
Oh,
a
Denny
lot
ain't
of
no
battery.
slouch though. Denny ain't no slouch. He wants to sit over and be quiet, but he's quite a pilot himself.
Yes, he is.
I watched
Well,
his national.
Just
I
to
watched
say,
his national flight.
the older I
Look,
get, the better I
Just for
was,
that
Phil.
flight,
That's
yeah.
all.
well, that's all of us. We talked about that last time I was at Tucson. The
Yeah.
older I get, the better I used to be. But
And Paul,
tell you what.
Paul and Howard are, they're just cruising. Remember, Howard is basically retired from flying combat. This is his retirement hobby. All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what got me.
I understand he was a pretty fair to middling combat flyer, huh? So,
No, he wasn't fair to middling. He was the
he was
one to beat when he
unfair.
showed up.
Unfair, yeah.
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 He was the one to beat when he showed up, at least out here. Every time he came out here to our 4A, he went home with a trophy, and it usually had a 1 on it.
Yeah,
The ones I
a big
present-
trophy. Yep.
Yeah, the 2 that I presented him were both big trophies.
Mhm.
So he was quite a flyer. But he came out in a clown suit. I'm trying to take him serious, and he's wearing a clown suit. Now, never mind that it's June in North Carolina. It's hot, and he's wearing a clown suit. But then he goes
Okay.
out and just tears everybody to ribbons. It's ridiculous. He's quite a pilot.
Mhm.
As I've come to find out since we've been on here, he's also quite a guy. So,
Mhm.
Who's that?
pretty interesting. You meet some interesting Howard Rush.
Ah.
He's a
Hey,
mess.
Ryan, did you see Howard Rush's show and tell?
No.
Oh,
I'm
watch
He was
waiting
just
for him
flying.
to tell us what he was flying.
He was flying in his backyard, his electric plane.
Mhm.
He did
I'm
this.
telling you what.
Yeah.
These guys that can fly in their backyard, I just don't know. I used to could, but I can't anymore.
Mhm.
But I'm telling you, that's sharp. I like that. I miss that. Y'all go keep drinking sodas. I'm about to go get me something to drink. Rascally rabbits.
Speaking of which, I have something in the freezer.
Good night, all. It's past my bedtime.
Hey, Walter, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Walter, take care of yourself.
Doing speaking with you guys. Always a pleasure.
It is.
And remember-
Take care, Walter.
Take
In with
care,
the
Walter.
needle valve, right?
What's
Slow
that, Danny?
passes. In with the needle valve. 6.5
Right,
is
in
a
with the
little
needle
bit
valve.
slow, all right? So,
I'll report on it next week.
Sounds
Take
good.
care, boys.
Yeah,
I think I'm
I've
gonna
been.
call it a night too, guys. Have a good one.
Will you,
Hey, thank
Hey,
you.
stay out of
Ryan.
trouble.
Thanks for coming in.
Charles, I hope in the next day or two be able to call you and tell you, give him a call, tell him to watch for a box in the mail.
Okay.
But I just couldn't do any more tonight. I got tired.
I understand. And I understand,
Whew.
having to try to find stuff. It's hard to find stuff. And you got other stuff.
Oh boy. I got a mess down there. I mean, I got a mess. I'm looking
gotta
at a
show you
box.
guys something.
Go ahead.
I gotta show you guys that. I sent off an order to MBS
Uh-oh.
and it came today. And here is 100 feet at 27 thousandths for lead out wire. All right. And this is 1,000 feet of 18 thousandths.
Mm.
And here is 1,000 feet of 15.
Oh me.
And then here's 100 feet of copper wire for making the ends,
Wrapping ends.
wrapping ends.
And then he's got a roll of
Not only-
fishing. Now he's got a roll of fishing line in there. Just going to get rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah, right, right. And there are, see what those are?
Eyelets.
Eyelets.
Eyelets, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And can you imagine now, I'm gonna tell you what all this costs. It surprised me because I've been looking at other places for bulk line. And Come on, I gotta get this open. And it was amazing how much some places were asking for bulk wine. Not that,
Oh, I know that. I know what you mean there.
come on.
I've gotten to where I open those with a pocket knife.
Well, it's open, it's just stuck together.
Yeah.
Okay. The total price on it with shipping was $88.95.
No way. That's a mistake.
Yeah. No,
Where
no,
did you
that's
get that?
from MBS.
Where'd you get that?
MBS.
MB what?
MBS. Supply.
MBF?
MBS.
No, MBS, Mike Baker Sugar.
That's,
That's a mistake, man. You got.
No,
you
it's not.
You got to call him and say, "You can make a
I owe
mistake."
you more money.
No, these 1,000-foot rolls are 35 bucks a piece.
All right.
The 27,000, that was $7 for 100 feet.
Good grief.
This copper wire, let's see. I think this was $2.
Oh gosh.
How many 1,000-foot rolls do you have? Didn't you?
2,000-foot rolls.
Just two of them?
Yeah.
Mm.
And these little things were $2.
Those are thimbles. We said eyelets earlier, but we meant thimbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and here's the,
Son of a gun.
Wow.
How
So-
big a gun were you holding on them, Jesse?
I did it over the internet. So it was an internet, it was a virtual gun.
that's,
But you go to his site and he's got fair prices on this kind of stuff. So if you wanna go check out its MBS supply, I think it is.
I'll give them a call tomorrow because I need some 15,000s. But I am gonna.
they got a nice selection of doodads and thingamajigs and, you know,
They do.
stuff that we need. So,
I tell you what, I'm anxious to find out about a few things. But one of the things I want to look at is I'm trying to figure out how in the world to get through the YouTube to get back to what y'all did Friday night, because I got to see just enough of it to find out you was talking about that fishing line, and I'm going to go get some and try it. That just sounded good. The only thing I have not understood in a long time is how Sparky managed to publish that one. It says P47 Razorback, and it's plainly a bubble canopy. I said, Sparky, what were you looking at, brother? Come on. But anyway,
Phil,
it's
the name of this
Go ahead.
is MBS Model Supply.
Model Supply.
MBS Model Supply.
Model Supply. All right.
Yeah, he's a good
I will
guy.
give them a call tomorrow.
I've dealt with him too a couple times. I bought wire from him. He's a good guy.
Yep.
I learned a lot from you guys because that little trick you told me about that one place that sells 76s and 81s.
Yeah.
That's almost $100 savings on that motor alone. So
Yep.
I'll be getting in touch with them.
So Brendan, you have your hand raised. Brendan, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a couple of topics I was looking to get into if we're kind of done with the MBS piece. I had a couple topics and then a kind of show and tell. So first, I'm going to start with electric. So this is kind of more for the electric folks that are out there, but I got a couple of motors that I just put on planes, my first time flying them. And do you find that it takes a moment to work in those motors to get them to run consistently in terms of like if you're running the same RPMs like lap speed, or should it be exactly the same every time?
Dead nuts.
well, if you're asking about like break-in and stuff, they don't break in. The if you're not getting exactly what are you getting?
Okay, well, I was wondering if there was a break-in because I've had it fluctuate a little bit from, running the same RPMs, but I've eventually gotten to this point where it's strange. And I've worked with Trian on it. There's some cheaper end motors. They're called Exceed rocket motors. I've got a 3025 760 kilovolt that I'm running. It's on a 4S battery. I think it's a 3000 mAh. So anyway, the other piece is I had 11 by 5.5 prop and was running it with a Phoenix 45 ESC. So anyway, I started at, I think I had like 8,000, it was 8,100 RPMs on it. And it ran at a 4.4 second lap speed. So then I dropped it. I literally dropped it 1,000 RPMs and it still was running at a 4.4. So I don't know if it's just my setting on, I got a Human timer and programmer. I don't know what's happened here, but it's kind of leveled out at 4.4 and I don't know what the issue is.
Well, I think it's the issue. It's in the way you set up your ESC. There's a maximum and minimum on an ESC and a ramp between them, right? So the minimum may be at 20% throttle, the maximum may be at 100% throttle, and you have something in between, right?
Okay.
You maybe program your minimum too high, and it doesn't allow you to go below that minimum.
Okay, you said you had a Phoenix ESC?
Yes.
All right. Did you use the set RPM mode?
I think it's called the Phoenix High RPM.
All right.
There you go.
The set. It was the Phoenix High RPM.
Yeah, high gov or something like that. Yeah, okay.
So, Brian, you're saying maybe something in my settings, I don't have it like a lower floor?
If you're okay, and if you're using the Human FM9 system, when you go through Phoenix, I think there's a couple of choices in there. I think it had a choice for set RPM and it has choice for governor mode or high gov mode or something like that.
Right.
Make sure you use the governor mode in the Human. If you're not, you get exactly the same signal. And the set RPM gives you basically a minimum, a middle, or a maximum setting. And it has nothing to do with the RPM. It has to do with picking an RPM that was been programmed into the ESC. Right. So make sure when you go Phoenix, it says high gov mode or something like that.
Yeah.
That's my swag, but I think that might be what's causing you grief.
Yeah. I don't know how Castle Creation is programming them, but I think some ESC have some kind of program on which you just set the slope, right? Say this point here, it's at 100%, right? And on your throttle. Yeah. And this point here is going to be at a minimum RPM. And you can tell the slope to be in a straight line or, or maybe a exponential or something like that.
Parabolic.
And depending where your throttle is, right, it's going to give you a different RPMs, right? But if your minimum is over there and your maximum is over there, as you go down on the throttle, you can only go to about this point and then it's going to drop.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it depends how you program it, right?
Well, with the Phoenix, I don't think that comes into play. If you use this, there is a programming mode for Phoenix. Frankly, I like using it myself. It's called set RPM. And with that, you literally go into the ESC and you program how many RPM do I want? 8,000, 9,000, 9,200, whatever. And when you do that, that's where it goes. It like factors off the kV of the motor, the number of cells and everything like that. And it delivers exactly the RPM you want program.
I think
got a lot of noise happening here. What's going on?
I think Howard's flying again. Yeah, that's what's happening.
Maybe we need to mute him. I'm sorry, Howard. I don't know. But at any rate, that's why I asked the question, because if Brandon had used the set RPM mode, then it's going to be whatever you put in there.
Yeah, I've stayed away from
But if you're at high gov, then the other possibility is, and this actually kind of plays into what Tran is saying, if you set RPM on the timer, what the human timer, you know, to select the RPMs in it, you either have to have 100% signal, a 50 to 95% signal, or below 50% signal. And that trying is kind of where you were going with the 3 points on the curve. Well, if you do that on the FM9 timer, and if you go into the set, it looks like, gee, I'm trying to set the speed, but you're really not. The speed will be, it comes up something like ABC. It doesn't come up with the exact, you know, thing. So I don't know. I think
Yeah,
certainly you
I'm
should.
kind of lost on it because I did set it in the high gov mode, and like I said, you know, I dropped 1,000 RPMs off of it supposedly in the programming, and it came in at a 4.4 second lap again. So obviously that's not changing anything.
Well, obviously, yeah, it should have changed something. The what was the motor KB again?
760, and I was running a 4S battery.
760 and a 4S. I guess I would have been afraid that you couldn't have even got that fast with it, because 760 is more like a 5-cell motor. You know, a 5-pitch prop. You said
It's a
11,
theoretical
5.5.
maximum of 11,250 RPMs. I think it's more than enough, Danny.
760 on 4 cells. Just sounds slow. That's all.
Yes,
Anyhow,
it's theoretical max. Okay, you're never
Yeah.
gonna get that, but that's a no load kind
Right.
of thing. No load, it's 11,200, which I think it's a good calculation for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get what 10,000 something. I was just running that today on that 720.
Oh, one other possibility. Pole count in the motor. Phoenix lets you set how many poles are in the motor.
Okay.
Most motors have 12 slots, 14 magnets. Some have 10 slots or 10 magnets. And what'll happen is it's counting the magnets as they come by, and it's giving you a different speed. Because of that, if you can, look at the end of the motor, go around it, and see if you can count the number of magnets that are in it. I'll bet that'll do it. Or back in the programming screen on the Phoenix, it may have a bogus number in it. It might have a number that's other than, you know, whatever it says, count the magnets, put that number where it says, it's on the second screen. I forget what it's called.
You know what? I think that may be good info there, because I'm pretty sure that, you know, again, this is cheap motors I'm working with here, and some of that loss in translation stuff with, you know, Chinese stuff to American. I'm looking in this and I'm thinking I'm seeing more magnets than I originally thought. So that.
Yeah, well, and then go back into the programming and just make sure that it matches.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but Brandon, I'm not sure. I might be wrong here, but most motors from brand to brand, they don't differ that much in like power-wise and stuff like that. The only thing that's the biggest difference between from motor to motor, I think, would be ball bearings.
Okay.
Some might be better supported bearings, may have larger bearings or something like that. But that's the biggest difference from motor to motor. Copper is copper, you know. As long as you make it a decent diameter, you know, and wrap it around the stator of the motor.
Yeah.
Steel is steel. You know, they're all done by stamping them and just stacking them together to make the stator, and then they wrap the wire around them. I don't think it's more than 5, maybe even. If I say 10% difference from the cheapest motor, the most expensive motor, I think I'd be exaggerating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that thing with the magnet count, I think that could really throw you for a loop.
I'll take a look into that and I'll report back. I think that very well may be the issue.
Yeah,
now, the other thing is that when you hook your timer in there, doesn't it ask you someplace what ESC you're using?
Yes. Yep.
And I had to put a new pin in mine because it seems like there's something different between like the Talon motor and the what was before the Talon?
Phoenix. The straight up Phoenix.
Yeah, was it the straight up the cheaper one they had?
I haven't been
And
in
then
this around.
Yeah, maybe in the Phoenix, and then they had the Phoenix Ice. Then
They
they came out
they
with
had one called a Thunderbolt, but that wasn't programmable.
Thunderbird.
Yeah.
And that was programmable. I still have my program thing and stuff like
really?
that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know that I talked to Will, and I had to get that other chip to put in this box of mine. So, and it came with an extra Phoenix, and it came with the Hornet. So you could use it, because I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get mine to work. And it didn't have the Hornet in there. It had, ZTW, and that'll work on a whole lot of them. And
Is Howard trying to talk to us?
I think he's just moving his PC right now.
Hey, I just counted the magnets in the motor, and it's got more than I think I originally programmed into it. So I think that's good money right there. I can report.
Yeah. The reason I remember that is we had one of the early experiments. They actually used an in-runner motor and with a gearbox, and the motor had like I think 4 magnets in it, and at a 3-to-1 gearbox in it. So we're actually running to get 10,000 RPM to the prop. We were running the motor at over 30,000 RPM. All right.
Wow.
And very interesting setup for about 10 flights. And that's how long it took for the spur gear to wear a groove through the ring gear. And that was the end of the geared motor experiments, at least for now. But
Is it the
yeah,
counter rotating
that was
prop?
interesting.
Is that for a counter prop?
No, this is for my stunt plane.
Hmm.
And I used a Phoenix Super Box, not Phoenix, Astro. And real durable. I'd have to dig up some pictures on that, but it's kind of ancient history right now. It was a lot of fun while it lasted, and I'll let it go with that. But
I always wondered why they never.
I had another question I was going to ask, kind of like another area to go. And then if y'all want to see it at the end, I got a 3-minute video of Angstrom flying today that was.
Oh, sure.
Sure, man. Bring it on.
Piggybacked off of some stuff we talked about last week. But this may be a debate for the ages that no one has really settled. But I think when Mike Longkey first taught Angstrom to fly, he got him out in the middle, and I think he said something to him like, I'll slap you silly if you bend your arm. Angstrom remembers something like that, and so he's forever gone just straight armed with this, and that's how I've done it as well. But I was reading something on Stunthangar the other night where they were saying all the greats are bent armed or something. So I don't know if this is just we'll
look
go
down your lines,
talk like this, but I don't know if there's a yes, a no, or just whatever.
Well,
usually in a teaching situation, you try to get your student to hold their arm out and raise their whole arm up and down. So instead of going like this, where they're given over controlling it, this is very slow controls.
Mm-hmm.
And that's often, that might have been what he was referring to, because the stunt pilots, like Gordon Delaney, puts this hand here. This hand is right here like this. He's looking right down his lines. And that's how he flies.
Where I fly. It's where I fly, especially inverted.
That's how you fly too, Phil. You look down your lines.
Mm-hmm.
I can't look down my lines. I get dizzy.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to that at all. But what I can say is that there are different things. It's like, for me, I can do lots of down and very little up, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if I would fly with my hand straight out, I cannot give it up, but I can give it down. If I tucked my hand in, I'm already,
Yeah.
I have my equal travel, right?
Right.
So it helps me out. It's just a matter of the way my body's built.
Right.
There are people that can give lots of up, lots of down, you know, and they have all kind of stuff in movement over there. But because I don't have it, I have to go like this a little bit. So now I'm just in my range, right?
Right.
That's perfect.
I
never thought about it, but that really works.
That can be a limitation, right? But it's just a physical limitation, right?
Right.
Have you
Now-
ever watched Paul Walker fly?
Yeah,
His arm is
anytime.
straight out and he's looking
Yeah.
right down like his arm, just like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Walker flies straight arm out. There's different people fly different ways.
Yeah.
And you got to try what works for you.
Well, Samantha with a heavy 60 size airplane will have bend in her arm when she starts. And when it's finished, her arm is straight out because she can't.
I don't think Paul Walker flies that way, unless maybe a B-17.
Oh.
Hey, Power, thanks for the flights. We saw they saw the first flight, and that was awesome.
What were you flying, Paul? Or Paul Howard?
Sam
Yeah,
Westerville.
What was it?
I'm sorry, what?
What were you flying?
Oh, same old dog, old Impact.
The orange one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say about the arm deal. When I went out the first time and flew at the control line club at their field, and we flew, and Dick asked me, why in the hell you got your arm down to your side flying? You know? And my brother did it the same way, and he says, well, that's how they show it on the Cox model. The kid's flying with his arm down to his side. That's all, you know, that's all we had to go by. So we thought that's where you flew, with the arm down there by your side.
Oh, Lord.
Sterling models had them showing them with their hand like this.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, luckily I didn't get a Sterling model. I'd have flew like Rusty.
You know, it's and it all boils down with whatever works for you. On a more or less on a personal level, I don't think it's a right way or wrong way to hold your hand. If it works for you, I mean, you look at what was that? There was
He did.
bite him back. So what I want to say is that it's just what works for you best, man.
And
yeah,
I remember Fancher giving Pat Johnson a whole bunch of grief. Pat was flying, he flew with a heavily biased handle. He liked it, you know, like that. Okay. And if you talk to Fancher, he'll tell you he wants you to hold that handle straight up and down. Because that whole, you get it, you just have better control of your airplane. That thing you showed, he's already got most of his down in when he's got a heavily biased handle. Didn't have much more. We got lots of up, but not much down. And if he holds it like this, he's got even less.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. Well, so when I fly, and especially when I'm taking off, I'm just picturing myself flying level laps, right? And that's where I set my hand at.
Yep.
And usually when I take off, the plane goes nice and smooth, right? And believe it, I can do it with my hand straight up, or I can do it like this. Either way works, right? For me. And but mentally, you know where your neutral position is, and you can do it with your hand straight up. You can do it with it a little bit like this. I've seen people that when they fly in they twist their arms like that. Oreste is one of them. Some others just hold it straight up. But it still comes back to personal preference. And yeah, but on the other hand, you know, it's like, yeah, I can see what Ted Thanger is coming from. You know, just keep your hand level, and that's what I'm setting mine. Is pretty neutral, right? Even
Right.
though I don't have much of this, but because I don't fly like that, I fly a little bit like this. Now it allows me to do whatever I need to do with it.
Right.
But the handle is still pretty much straight up and down. I also flew in the past with my hand straight and bias it down a little bit when I was flying level. But right now I find for myself that if I have my handle straight up and down like this on a plane, it just feels better for me because it's like you point your fingers at the plane, right? And that's your neutral position.
Yep.
So just go like that. This plane is over there, right? And that's your position. So it's 45 degrees, you are there, right? But you know, I find that more reliable than trying to fly it with my hand straight and bias the handle down.
Biasing the handle is
Not the
it does take away from your symmetry of control. That's a funny word to put associated, but you know, you want to be able to give your wrist motion. You want the same up and the same down. You know, like say, extend it out. You got lots of down, very little up. To get more up, you got to actually bend your wrist. You know.
Yeah.
But if you got your handle straight up and down, you can fly with your fingers, your index and your finger and your pinky finger. You can control that handle. I mean, you got grip on
for
it.
the level flight.
Yeah,
just fine
level
tuning a
flight.
level.
You can do maneuvers with it that way.
You
know.
Yeah. Well,
I like how
that depends
Igor
on
Berger does it when he does his wing over. Have you guys seen him do his wing over? He flies with his hand down like this, coming into it.
Right.
And then when he comes over, it's ready for his down.
Right.
But he turns his hand because otherwise, he says, because he flies like this normally, but he says if you bring it over your head, you got to twist your wrist. If you have it flat, it comes out on top perfectly straight and on the way down.
See, and I started along when I was a kid. I would come in like with my hand this way. I give it up, but then as soon as I got it vertical, I turned my hand as I went over. When I came down, I just hit it when I was ready and right out.
Yeah, that's how I do it. And the reason why I do it the same way is because when I'm doing the reverse wing over, if the plane gets ahead of me or behind me, I'm putting in input unconsciously. So if I have my hand sideways, even if the plane gets ahead of me or behind me, there's no input.
So what I found out in wing over in general, if you watch the plane and you watch the flyer, so say he takes a video of himself, right? And look at the maneuver first, and then replay the maneuver. Don't look at the plane, look at the pilot, what he does. So what I've seen is that as the plane comes overhead, a lot of pilots, what they do, as the plane comes, say you pull up in front of you, as you come overhead, you have to turn the other way, right?
No, I
more or less.
I come in face and I bring it over here and I raise it up on this. Bring it over. No, I do it the other way. I come over, I turn away from it, come over, and when it's right on my shoulder, just before it gets there, I give it the up so it goes straight across.
Okay, so it stays up. Yes, good.
And
so
then come down, and
but
I'm not moving my body, I'm moving my arms. Pull it out here. I'm using my shoulders to define the.
Okay, good. But the way you said it, the way you said it, it comes in front of you, right? But anyway, but I've seen a lot of people. What they do is that instead of having the body in one position, and if you're right-handed, you just do your maneuver, and you stay in that position, right? Okay.
Yeah.
What they do, they pull over, they turn around like this.
Yeah, they don't.
And their bodies like this. and you see right on the top, it has like a change
Has
of
a little,
directions.
little crook, yeah.
Yeah. As,
And you
as
get
soon
down
as they
low, down
as soon as
scored.
they move their body, the plane is changing directions.
You get down scored on that every time.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
So and it's, I think it's a cool trick for the wing over. If it's the plane is here, you don't look here, you look where it's gonna be, right? So kind of like leading the plane by quite a bit because the plane is flying through the lead, right? If you look at the plane and the plane changes direction, you cannot keep track of its trajectory.
Right.
Per se, you have to lead to be ahead of the plane, like 20,
Yeah,
30 degrees or so.
I never noticed it before, but you're right. I do that.
Mhm.
You know, I'll
Do a
pull it up
wiggle.
and I'm already looking ahead of it. Yes.
Yeah. So kind of as you pull it up, and you can even look overhead, and you can see the plane coming to the spot, and you can look down, and you pull out the spot, and you are already with a view over there, and the plane tracks exactly where you want to go. Pull it invert. Now as it comes through the front of you, you can already look at the judge. You pull up your vertical position and wait for it. Boom, just hit it
Yep.
over there, hit it overhead, and you see it over there on the down. But I would wait to turn my body, you know, because initially, so what you do, your body's in this direction, right? So if you're right-handed, you do pull up, hit the top, hit the bottom, bring it in, right? And you hit the top, go towards the bottom, stay over there until you see the ground, and you can see the plane over there coming down. Because right now, if you move your body around, you can still track it nicely because you have a reference point now.
Right.
The trick is overhead. That's where the ugly stuff happens, just right overhead. So
You're right there.
Yeah, very good tips. Pardon me, you guys. Let me get to the chat box. By the way, Brent Williams says, "Howdy, guys." Howdy,
Hey,
Brent.
howdy
Thanks
doody.
for coming in, Brent. And then Michael Gell says, I always flew with my hand flat. It was comfortable that way. I would have my front lead outs be up, and I would have my arm relaxed. My wrist moves equally up and down. Well, not everybody's moves equally up and down, but that sounds good to me, Michael Gell. That's all about what I do. My hands only flat during the reverse wing overs and the overhead part, but everywhere else my hand is vertically up and down.
Yeah, it depends on how you used to and stuff like that. But I've been trying a lot of stuff for the wing over, you know, because I'm a lefty, you know, for me it would be very easy to just stop here and do my wing over like this, right?
Right.
And as it comes down to, I tried to do this one time. So it was something, it looks something like that. So as I do my wing over, I'm flying. I would have my plane where I want to do my wing over, and I would stop there, right? And the plane will come over. I'm lefty, right? So I have plenty of time to wait for it and pull it overhead, bring it here. But the trick to it here is that I had to reverse position for the second part. I had to turn here opposite and face the other way. So my body goes from here to here, right? And I didn't really like that. So I just went back to what I usually do now. I just kind of fly over my right hand, over my right shoulder.
Right.
But for right-handed people, I think the best example I can probably show is Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald has this incredible footwork, you know.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
When he sets up and his feet are just shuffling around, you know, to the point like boom, he goes there, and the plane comes from behind, and he's waiting for it. She just comes, boom, hits it, and boom, he does his number, right?
Right.
But I think you have to wait. Don't turn your body when it's overhead. Never.
Yeah.
Wait for the plane to come here. And what I'm thinking is like, if your feet are like this, right?
Mhm.
when you turn for, say the plane is over there,
Right.
when you pull out either inverted or normal flight. So for the first part, when you go inverted, keep your feet like this. For the second part, lift, pivot on a toe, put your toe down, right? That's all, right? So from your feet being here, just change it. Boom. It's like a Tai Chi kind of thing, right?
Huh. Yeah, I don't
You
know
have
what my feet are doing. but
your feet are like this. Let me try this.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just not too conscious of my feet.
So you see this?
Yeah.
So here, lift, kind of like just like this.
I'll try it maybe next.
Just
I'll
lift,
fly tomorrow.
just swap it 90 degrees. So now your body is very comfortable to turn,
right,
boom, and pull out over there.
But you see what you're doing with your knees? That's why you should never turn your feet when you fly or do any other sports, because your knees move and it throws off angles. And that's one thing with shooting trap. Your lower body can't move.
Mhm.
You'll dip a hip, you'll dip a knee. It's when the best way to do a wing over would be able to sit in a chair. So you only use your upper body to fly that maneuver and never your legs. And that's when we shot out of a chair because we only wanted to turn here. We wanted to do nothing with a hip or a knee. People set their ass back.
Mhm.
And if you watch, guys shooting basketball, they gotta keep their knees and stuff from leaning.
Okay.
The guys who come up, they use just their arms.
All right,
And you
Steve.
get guys that move around, they can't hit free throws and stuff like that.
All right,
But yeah,
Steve,
the more things you move, the more things will get out of whack.
Okay, say that's right, but how do you mitigate this? So you come inverted, you come overhead, right? And here you have to pull up, and your hand is coming from the side, right?
Hey, come.
Yeah,
Because you come from here like that, and you basically go overhead, over your shoulder, and try to pull up over there, and it's kind of awkward to me.
And you take one.
Yeah, it is for left-handed. I don't know.
He's
No,
doing
to
it
me it's
right.
comfortable, but to you be very awkward because the right-handed
But for
person is going to be
right-handed,
over here.
Samantha's already, when she's coming around flying the airplane's behind her. She's looking like this. She's already set with the judges on a straight angle. When her hand meets here, the airplane comes up. She never moves her body. She never moves her feet. It comes down, back up again, never moves the feet, whatever. Comes, and then when she's right down to the bottom is when she comes out, she starts moving her feet again. You start
So
getting happy.
after her second pull out, she starts to move.
Yep.
Okay.
And I have her. The other thing is, I don't have her fly over her head. I have her fly 6 inches in front of her face. So she can see when what the airplane's doing. Otherwise, really, if you flew over your head, you would have to lean back somehow to see that, because you can't get your head up. Then now you're leaning backwards and stuff. It's like bring it out in front of your face a little bit. Set it up so it comes up in front of the judges, but now you can see it all tracking right down.
Yeah.
But to fly over your head, I don't think anybody can really fly over their head.
Fitzgerald can.
Because they'd have to get a 90-degree kink in their neck.
Fitzgerald could do it, but that's because he can lean back so far.
Yeah.
One of the things.
Samantha can do a back bend. Samantha can do back, but I try to tell her, don't be moving your hips and your feet and stuff like that. You start getting happy feet and stuff goes bad. And when Big Art was helping her, that's what he was like. Don't get happy feet. Your feet are moving all over. Get your stance and don't move.
Go ahead, John.
One of the
So,
things.
so let John
Steve,
finish. Go ahead, John.
one of the things, okay, that I was taught to do, and I've done it my entire life, is as I'm 90 degrees from where I'm going to pull up, I turn and I get myself lined up to the axis across the top of the circle. I stop, plant both feet, and I pull up. The feet do not move. The hip does not move. I just turn like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And look,
Bring it around.
if you
I
can,
still haven't turned my feet. Bring it up, over. Now here's where it gets funny. I get here.
right, look where your hand's at right
Let me
there,
finish.
John.
Let me finish.
Where's your hand at right there?
Right
Steve,
there.
let him finish.
It's 6 inches in front of your face, just like I said.
That's not what I'm talking about, Steve. Right here, I'm talking about the footwork. Through this whole time, I've had my feet planted. As I get right here and I pull up, when I pull up, I take my right foot, find it here, and I'm ready to fly out. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I have to do. Just bring the right foot around. I'm ready. And I'm on it.
So
Right,
that's
that's what Samantha
John,
does.
yeah.
But when
John,
you were
that's-
showing your hand come over, it didn't come over above your head.
You can't. You bring it up, and you look where my arm is right now.
Yeah.
See,
And look where your hand's at.
But no, look at my shoulders. I'm turning my shoulders. I brought it straight over my head.
Now, maybe you brought the plane over your head, but your hand was not over your head. It was higher than your head.
Here, I start my turn, and it's
right. Look,
it's made an arc.
I can see in the picture your hand's out about this far from your head.
I'm turning.
It's not over your
coming
head.
right up. I turn. Now I pass the axis. And I pass the axis, and now I'm back down again.
Right. I know that, but
It's making a straight flight right up through the center. I am moving my body by twisting it, turning it. My feet are set, but my upper body is turning and giving access for my shoulder to pull through without trying to put it through my head.
You know, and it's like when we were at Brodak and Art was helping Samantha. You know, she's like, well, what did you think of my maneuvers? And he goes, I wasn't watching your maneuvers. And she said, well, what were you watching? He goes, I was watching your body, your feet, how you set up for the maneuvers. You know, and that's what helped her more. It's like, you got to know where your body's at before you do that maneuver.
Well, Samantha
and that helped her more than everything else, you know, because I told her before, you're getting happy feet. Your damn feet are moving around out there. You have no idea.
He's right. Samantha and I had the same teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so did
Dennis.
Was that you, Dennis?
Well, that's a difference over there. So, for example, I set my feet different depending on the weather conditions. Seriously.
Well, I'm sure.
If I have light wind and I don't have to move anywhere, I put my feet here. If I have no wind, I put my feet like that. Okay. And I'm going like this with the feet, right? Because if it's no wind, I'm always ready to step.
See,
if I'm planning like this, it's kind of hard to, you kind of shift your body, you know, kind of your body goes from here. I don't know, but you know, or if it's windy again, I'm going like this again. So I'm only staying like this if it's just nice conditions with light breeze.
If I was doing the same thing I was doing left-handed, I would have to turn and literally cross my body.
Yeah.
Set my feet.
Yep.
And I can see where your footing would be different than mine. Because now, at that point though, if I can do it, I can keep my feet immobile, stable, catch it, you know, up, over, catch it, bring it around here.
What is a Walker Cup winner? How do you do your feet?
Let's twist again like we did last summer. I've been
Yeah.
having that troubles. My upper body is not as flexible as it used to be, and I've been rediscovering how to do wing overs, frankly. And I am doing something, I think, Steve, something like you described with Samantha. I found that taking a preset, ahead of the airplane, so that I don't have to move my body. I can fly this up here. As I found, if I'm not facing the inverted pullout, I can't make a good one, and stuff like that. So I'm trying to twist my body around so that I'm ahead of the airplane and I fly it over the top and with minimum movement, and then maybe just at the last part, I will rotate to hit that corner. I don't know why I have more trouble on the first pullout. Coming back over is no big deal, and coming back up is no big deal.
Same thing with Samantha. The first one she has more trouble with than the second.
Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, your dad is the one that had her set her feet. Now get around there and set them feet, and then let that plane fly to where you're standing.
Yeah, to my own, to a lesser extent, I still have some occasional vertigo issues, and I have issues with my back isn't as flexible as it used to be and stuff like that. And so I'm relearning some of this stuff. So I don't have a lot to add, frankly. Everything you're saying, everybody's been saying.
You're either relearning or remembering what your dad told you, huh? Oh yeah, that's right. Dad told me that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, his dad was a hell of a coach.
Oh, I know it.
So,
hey, I got my badass props today.
Are they nice?
I saw.
They're really nice. They're balanced, hub balanced, and regular balanced, perfect.
That's a
The only thing I don't like about them is I took both of them out of the package and balanced them, and there's no markings on there that tells you what pitch or size they are.
Just buy one of those silver markers and write it on.
I think so.
Right. I can't. You can do that, but when I pulled them out of the package, there wasn't a warning. Do not pull these out of the package until you have a silver marker to write on them what they are. I pulled them out and then discovered there is no marking on the prop.
Wow, that's interesting.
I have to call Lucy to put a warning label on there.
Hey, I got my batteries today, Steve.
They're nice, aren't they?
They're nice. They're not bad looking at all. To be honest with you, I set them against my badass batteries. The badass batteries are 45C and these are 25C. Other than that, they look almost identical.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I got today was this. And it's a four-place charger.
Where'd you get that from?
From Innovative 8.
Oh, yeah?
$79. And I was talking to Dennis earlier. I thought this in Phil, it was charging fast. So my favorite charger is Centurion or whatever by E-Flight. And I've used that, and that balance is better. This one will only do 25 watts per channel. So about 2.5 amps. So I wanted to see, well, if you really did it, how much longer it would take over the other charger. So the other charger, I set at 3.5 amps. This one I set at 2.5 amps. Hit the buttons to start them. The new one charged the pack, a 3,500 milliamp pack from storage charge up to 0.005 difference between the cells in 46 minutes. In 52 minutes, if you leave, it does a extra balance deal in there. And at 52 minutes, it brought it down to 0.001 difference between the cells. My other charger Took 91 minutes to get it to 0.17 was the closest it got.
Wow.
What, your old charger took longer than the new charger?
Right. And the new charger was
Wow.
1 amp less going in. But
That's
it's like I told you, this thing runs full power until it gets the cell to 4.195, and then it starts dropping off amperage.
Wow.
And balance it there to where the other charger, it says it's at, I forget what, 1680, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets close there and it starts ramping down the amperage from 3.5, then it was dropping 2.5, 1.5, and it stayed at 1.5 for a long time. When that one was at 1.5 trying to balance, this was still at 2.5. It caught up and passed when they got done. This one put in 20 milliamps more than the other one. That's how close they were on the balance from when they started to end. But which I didn't think was bad. But for $79,
yeah, $79 for a 4 output charger.
That's what I need to
Right.
get, I think.
Yeah.
it's AC/DC. If you plug it into the wall, you get 25, basically about 2.5 amps per battery. If you hook it to a power supply up to 20 amps, it will then double that to 5 amps or 50 watts per deal.
So it's a
Well,
50 watt
how
charger, right?
fast it would be if I upped it to 3.5, how long it would take to charge that fast.
Yeah.
I use
I
that
when I charge mine, I have a 100 watt per channel, relatively inexpensive charger, and mine it takes about 35 minutes to get it charged. That's from about half the battery capacity to full capacity. Honestly, I never paid attention to, even though I do balance charge, I never paid attention on how balanced they are. If they are within a millionth of a volt from cell to cell, I can care less. I was anywhere from 4.17 to 4.19, 4.2. I'm fine with that. I don't care. It's good enough.
In RC Universe, they said you got to be within 0.05 in a balance. Otherwise, if you look at when they're discharged, if you bring them down to 20%, how far the cells are off. The guy did the math. That one cell, he goes, that's how you ruin batteries. Because if it's not balanced right, if you bring them way down, it may have higher voltage on one of them and way below 20% on another.
I guess if you run them down to 80% or 75% capacity, it becomes a big issue. But when I run them down to 50% capacity, I can care less.
I think the other thing in there is I don't think people routinely balance charge their batteries. A lot of people don't do that because it takes longer. Everybody's, balance, everything's been about getting your batteries charged as fast as you can and everything like that. There've been a lot of batteries blown up because people have been trying to push it so hard. I think that if you're going to bounce charge every minute, I think, or every time, that's what finally, it's taken me several years to get into that habit, but I'm bouncing every single charge, and it doesn't give it a chance to get terribly out of line.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
You don't get them stacking on top of it each other.
Yeah,
well,
I
this
usually
one
get 4.17, 4.18 on every cell, so I'm fine with that.
This one will take and
Charles has
it says fast charge, and it pours the juice to it right to the end.
Okay, Charles has to get us sign us off here, guys. So let's
Yeah, we can still continue on, you guys. I just want to end the show because we're going over. It's like 9:15 almost, and I don't like the show to be too long on YouTube. But anyways, we've had a good evening, I mean, unfortunately, I don't know what to do about the chat box. Those guys are having their own show. They're even
They're
doing
having a good time and let them enjoy it.
trading engines and kits, and they're gonna meet somewhere between Bakersfield and stuff's going on in the chat box. So those guys are wheeling and dealing over there. And
Making
but
us jealous.
I just want to review. We've had as many as 24 viewers, and we have 23 likes. Thank you very much. We don't have any chat revenue, so if you could please donate and hit the super chat box or become a new subscriber at $4.99 a month. That's just less than 17 cents a day. That'll help Sparky out, and we greatly appreciate it. Did you want to say something, Phil, before I end the stream? You're muted, Phil.
Someone said a few weeks back that if I still needed it, they could come up with a set of plans for me for a SIG Acro. Oh my gosh, it was out along with the Super Acromaster.
Acrobat.
Acrobat.
Okay.
I still need to find a set of plans. I thought I had one. I had won an auction, I thought, right down to the last 10 seconds, and somebody beat me out by $20. They just punched in $20 more. But I still want to find a set of plans. I was going to try to get in touch with Dan McEntee, as John suggested, but I've tried for 2 days to find a good number for Dan, and I have not found it. So
For an Acromaster, Phil?
The Zlin Acrobat.
Is it Acromaster? It's SIG.
Zlin Acrobat.
I think Acrobat. No, it was a 35 size plane, Zen Acrobat, and it was Acrobat, and it's just a red, white, and blue paint scheme. Really pretty paint scheme on the cover.
Uses the same wing as the Chipmunk.
Yeah, beautiful airplane, just really, really, really pretty. And I just a friend of mine had one way back when, and I just really loved that airplane. Well, I want to build one. I don't know why, but I want to build one. But I want to build one and make it just a little bit bigger. I want to blow it up 10% and build it and see if I can't get a really good stunt plane out of it. I think it'll work, and I'd love the paint scheme. And nobody seems to be doing fancy paint schemes anymore too much. So I said, well, I'm going to try to do that one because it's not that hard to do. It looks it, but it's not that hard to do. That's too far. Oh, heck, I'll find it later.
And the
when I'm not looking.
Phil, and
all right, go ahead.
And help Phil out if you have some plans for it. You want to help?
I'll pay you for them if you make me a copy.
So, anyways, I'm going to end the stream, and thank you very much. We're going to still continue talking about model airplanes, and but if you want to come into here sometime, you need to be a member of Stunthangar Forum /SMF, and I post the link shortly after I start the monologue, and that's how you get in, and that's what you need to be in for the after party or when I end the stream. Look at what
we get crazy.
Look at what Danny's holding up. Danny's holding up.
I can't see it.
Danny,
say something. It'll switch to you.
Right there, it says Acrobat.
Danny's got
all right.
I need to get a set. I need to get a set of those.
All right. Well, see, we can help people out. So if you want to come and join this conversation, you can get some help. Anyways, I'm going to end
I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much, you guys. We will see you back here